Dear students, today we are going to study one of the most interesting and practical topics in economics, public finance. Before we begin the topic, I would like to ask you a few simple questions. Who builds highways, schools and hospitals? Who pays pensions to senior citizens? Who provides subsidies to farmers? Who spends money on national defense? Yes, the answer is government. Where does the government get the money to do all these activities? Does the government simply print unlimited money whenever it needs fund? No. The government collects money from different sources such as taxes, fees, fines, profits from public enterprises, and sometimes even by borrowing. The government must also decide how much to spend, where to spend, and for whom to spend. Therefore, the study of all these financial activities of the government is known as public finance. So, today's lecture will help us understand not only the meaning of public finance but also its wide scope. Now, let us begin with the meaning. Public finance deals with the income and expenditure. Meaning of public finance. Public finance is a branch of economics that studies the financial activities of the government. Public finance deals with the income and expenditure of the government. It studies how the government collects the revenue and how it spends money for the welfare of the society. Public finance also studies the government activities related to economic objectives such as full employment, economic development, price stability, and equitable distribution of income and wealth. Now let us understand how famous economists have defined public finance. According to Dalton, public finance deals with the income and expenditure of the public authorities and with the adjustment of the one to the other. Dalton says that public finance mainly studies the two things. How does the government earns money? How does the government spend that money efficiently? In other words, public finance studies the both income and expenditure of the government. According to Bookman, public finance studies the economic activities of the government as a unit. Now that we know the meaning of a public finance, what are the different areas included in the public finance? This is called the scope of public finance. Let us discuss each area one by one. Scope of the public finance. The scope or subject matter of public finance refers to the activities of the public authorities related to finance, collection of revenue, and allocation of expenditure among different sectors of the economy. The scope of public finance is very broad. It mainly consists of five areas, five important areas: public revenue, public expenditure, public debt, financial administration, and fiscal policy. Now let us understand each one in detail. The first area is public revenue, theory of public revenue. This branch studies the sources and methods through which the government earns revenue. The government collects revenue from different sources. This include taxes, fees, fines, profits from public enterprises, grants and gifts. Among all these, taxes are the most important sources of government revenue. Whenever we purchase a mobile phone, we buy clothes, Whenever we eat in a restaurant, we pay GST. That GST becomes a part of the government revenue. Similarly, people who earn higher incomes pay income tax. Companies pay corporate tax. Thus, taxation is the backbone of the public revenue. The government collects the revenue mainly to spend it for public welfare. Therefore, after understanding the public revenue, let us move to the second area, public expenditure. Theory of public expenditure. Public expenditure means the money spent by the government for the welfare of the society. Students, please remember one important thing. The government does not collect taxes just to keep money in its treasury. Instead, it spends that money for the benefit of the people. For example, construction of roads, government schools, hospitals, railways, airports, defense, agriculture, education, health, employment schemes, women empowerment, old age pensions, and many welfare programs. All these are examples of public expenditure. Today, the role of the government has increased significantly. Therefore, public expenditure is also increasing every year. So, government revenue must be spent for administration, defense, economic development, welfare, price stability, and full employment. This branch studies the classification, cause, and effects of public expenditure. What happens if a government expenditure becomes more than government revenue? In such situation, the government borrows money. This brings us to the third area of public finance, public debt. The area of public debt. Public debt means borrowing by the government. Government income is not sufficient to meet all developmental activities. Large projects such as metro rail, express highways, dams, smart cities, and digital India require huge financial sources. Therefore, the government borrows money. When government expenditure exceeds the revenue, the government borrows money to meet the deficit. This branch studies sources of public debt, burden of debt, debt management, repayment, and interest payments. Public debt is a public debt is of two types. The first one is internal debt, which means borrowing from within the country. The second one is external debt, which means borrowing from foreign governments or international institutions such as World Bank or IMF. However, borrowing is not a permanent solution. Loans must be repaid with the interest. Therefore, the government should borrow only for productive purposes. Now, after collecting revenue, spending money, and borrowing funds, another important question arises: who manage all these financial activities? The answer is financial administration. This branch studies the financial administration of the government. Financial administration means managing public money efficiently. It includes preparing the budget, collecting revenue, controlling expenditure, maintaining accounts, auditing, and ensuring financial discipline every year. Every year, the finance minister presents the union budget in parliament. The budget explains how much income the government expects, how much expenditure it plans, and how it intends to finance budget. Therefore, financial administration ensures that public money is properly managed. Now, even after proper administration, the government still needs a long term strategy to achieve economic development. This strategy is known as a fiscal policy. Fiscal policy refers to the government's policy regarding taxation and public expenditure. Public finance helps in achieving economic stability and growth through fiscal policy. The government uses taxation and expenditure policies to control inflation, unemployment, and economic fluctuations. The main objective of fiscal policy is economic growth, employment generation, price stability, reduction of poverty, reduction of income inequality, balanced regional development, and social welfare. For example, during recession, the government may increase public expenditures to create more jobs. During inflation, the government may reduce unnecessary expenditure or increase taxes to control excessive demand. Therefore, fiscal policy plays a vital role in maintaining economic stability. Next one is federal finance. Federal finance studies the distribution of income and expenditure between the central and state government in federal system. So, dear students, public finance is an important branch of economics that studies government income, expenditure, debt, and financial administration. It plays a vital role in economic development, welfare, stability, and equitable distribution of income in a country. Okay, thank you.